Hey folks, Chuck Holton here. Thank you for watching the Hot Zone. We've got Billy Marx on with us, who is I think, longtime police officer and the founder of M5 Group in Las Vegas. Billy, tell us what M5 Group does so we kind of understand who you are.
M5 Group was created in 2017. We created it for law enforcement and military. We do training. We do all kinds of training for law enforcement and military, from active shooter to sniper classes to CQC training. We even do civilian training as well to be prepared for any kind of terrorist threats, active shooter, active assailant threats as well.
Oh, that's awesome. How do people find you if they're interested in taking one of your classes?
You can just go straight to our webpage, www.m5groupllc.com, and you can also get at us at www.m5groupllc@gmail as well.
Okay, good. So let's talk a little bit about, obviously, day one of 2025, we had a couple of terror attacks already that a lot of people are very concerned about this. What can you tell people about what they should be worried about, what the threat actually is in the United States concerning more of these?
I think the threat inside the United States has been prevalent for a long time. I think that a lot of the threats are unique, if you will. In the last few years, we've seen a lot of people using vehicles to actually hurt and kill other people inside the United States. The last one I can remember with a vehicle would be the parade in Wisconsin. I can't remember what city it was. I believe
2021 in Waukesha.
Yeah, right outside of Waukesha. Ironically, I've been right outside of Waukesha and in Waukesha, but I can't remember exactly what city it was. But that person also killed some folks down there as well. And that's something that the American public doesn't expect when you're out and about at a Christmas parade, a New Year's Eve party, stuff like that. You just kind of don't think about that, or maybe you do, and it's in the back of your mind, and we kind of forget about it and hope that it's not going to happen.
Now, you've got some personal experience with active violence. Tell us about that.
I do. I was a police officer for Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department for some time. I had a couple of duty assignments, and my last duty assignment was on our full-time SWAT team. It's a great team. It's a very well-prepared, well-funded team. The agency is the same thing, well-prepared, well-funded as well. But I was not working the night of October 1st, 2017, the Route 91/Mandalay Bay shooting, where 58 people were killed and over 500 were injured.
Yeah, that's incredible. So what did that teach you about how to respond to things like this?
Well, like I said, Las Vegas is very fortunate in the place that we sit. We have Nellis Air Force Base that's right around the corner from us, from our training compound, I should say, or a training facility, I should say. So we get to train with a lot of folks from the military, where they come in and they teach us what was, what had been, and what still works to this day, with the 20-year war that we had with the global war on terror. A lot of skills and tactics and equipment have been completely updated from when it first started with when 9/11 attack happened. So Las Vegas is very fortunate with having a lot of folks come into town and share their knowledge and their experience of what works and doesn't work. Right after the October 1st shooting in Las Vegas, Nevada, the department looked at itself, took a very hard look at itself. So we've increased manpower, or they've increased manpower, I should say, since I'm retired. They've increased manpower, and they've increased training for officers that are mandated to take a certain amount of hours each year in new refresher training as well, for anything that happens inside of Las Vegas. Las Vegas is very unique. Obviously, we just had New Year's Eve as well, where Las Vegas had 400,000 people, tourists, come into town, and that's a big task for Las Vegas to handle for a one-night thing.
Oh man, I can't even imagine, and I certainly would not be in that crowd.
Yeah.
Older I get, the less I like big crowds of people. How do you personally, react, or not react, but plan if you have to go to an event like this? What's going through the back of your mind as somebody who's training people to respond to these kind of things, and has been through it yourself, when you have to go to let's say a event that's got a bunch of people there? What are you looking at, and how do you see things differently than most people?
Well, back when I hired on, and I say back like it was a really long time ago, I did hire on in 1997. And I remember one of our tax staff sergeants, and it stuck with me since the day that he said it, and it still sticks with me being retired for a little bit over 6 years. It was crisis rehearsal. Crisis rehearsal, I think, is everything in what and how we react and what we take with us when we go out into public. Especially again since Columbine, things have definitely changed with the attacking Columbine and how two people carried out that attack. Where law enforcement, when it started training for active shooter, we trained for one person. Now we're training for multiple adversaries. As a regular person, a retired person, I think I look at things a little bit differently as well now. My wife is still in the law enforcement career. My son is a law enforcement officer inside of Las Vegas as well. So, and being retired, I think we as a family look at things a lot different than some other families do. I usually don't leave the house without being armed. I usually, when we go out somewhere, we have my wife and I talk about stuff since we have a little one as well. We talk about maybe not escape routes, but we know where we need to go if something happens, or who's going to do what with the responsibilities of having an 11-year-old, who's going to take him to safety, who's going to stay, are we both staying if we have the child or don't have the child. So formulate a plan. You have to do that crisis rehearsal and that what if. It's really sad what happened in New Orleans. It's really sad what happened in Las Vegas. Like you said, we were one day into the new year, and 3 hours into the new year, we had a terrorist attack. I don't know if it's being called one, but it sure does look like one with the signatures that were there on site.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And, I think you raise a really important point that if you're going to an event like this and there's going to be a lot of people there and big crowds and things like that, it's easy to get separated. If a major event happens, a lot of times the cellular network goes down. You're thinking, well, I'll just, call my significant other and figure out where they are if we get separated, but you may not be able to do that. And so coming up with a plan beforehand, like, hey, if anything happens, you're taking the kid, I'm going to go deal with the threat, and you're going to meet me back at the car or something like that. Just something that simple could really make the difference between life and death for people. And that I think is very important to put out there. Obviously, people don't go to these things thinking that anything's going to happen, and that normalcy bias is sometimes what gets them killed. I think that studying the events that have happened can very often help us to kind of see them before they happen when we go. I know that as a war correspondent, I'm always going to conflict zones and crisis zones, and I'm always thinking back to previous experiences, and not things I've experienced, but just things I've seen or read about even, and thinking, oh, this could happen here, and it just keeps my mind sharp and focused as to what might happen. So as you're training cops, without telling bad people anything they don't need to know, we don't want to give out anything that's doesn't need to be public. Mm-hmm. But what are the kinds of things that you say to cops? What are you telling them to sort of help them get their minds in the right place when they're out? Because I have to say, the only video I saw of any policeman in New Orleans the night before last was there were about 15 of them that were all gathered around smoking and joking, and when this thing took place, and then they all took off running at once, and it kind of makes you go, man, I wonder, if maybe those guys should have had their heads on a swivel instead of all been looking at each other, standing there talking. What kind of things are you helping when you're educating cops? Do you talk to them about stuff like that?
Absolutely. So, I mean, if you look at a couple things, not only police officers or sheriff's deputies, federal agents, whatever, just look at yourself, and complacency kills, and really you have to have a plan. Again, going back to when I was hired on, my tax sergeant with the crisis rehearsal, I preach crisis rehearsal, complacency as well, where you have to have a plan, whether you're out having a good time, New Year's Eve, you're out at a birthday celebration, Chuck E. Cheese or wherever, something out in public, dinner with your spouse and your kids, you're out at Outback or wherever you're at, and where are the doors at? Because obviously, in public places, there's usually more than one entrance and one exit. fire escape, stuff like that. So you have to when you go into places, just take a quick look around, take a quick glance around, take a quick glance around at who's inside. Is it the middle of summer in Las Vegas, 115 degrees out, and someone's in long pants and an overcoat with a backpack on? Yeah, it kind of just doesn't fit. So if it doesn't fit, it doesn't look right. It probably isn't right, and it should raise the hairs on the back of your neck and go, something's not right. Is there any harm in calling a police officer or making a call to your local law enforcement and going, hey, I noticed this person sitting inside of a bar and it's 115 degrees out, but they're dressed like it's 32 degrees outside.
Right. Or a guy driving around with an ISIS flag flying from his truck,
Right. Right.
Look, everybody's got freedom of speech, but I might have called the police if I saw something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Okay, well, tell people once again how they can find you, and if they are interested in getting some of your training, where do they do that?
Again, just go on the internet and find us under M5 Group LLC. I do have to throw somebody else in there if you don't mind. Go to Direct Action Resource Center as well. They are a great tool at Arkansas for any for any law enforcement and or any military groups that want to go out there and have specialized training. I know you're a Darcy alumni just like I am, and I think Darcy has definitely stepped up the games for police officers with the training aspect that they get out there. I've been to quite a few different places for training. Other than myself, I would say Darcy does a superb job at getting folks ready in that crisis rehearsal.
That's right. I agree wholeheartedly. Probably the best, all around crisis and firearms training that you can get on planet Earth. Just the way that they do it is amazing. Rich is incredible out there. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking some time to talk to us today, and I hope that people will look you up.
Thanks, sir. God bless.
Right.
God bless.
Yes, sir. God bless you.